Ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests, welcome to today's ceremony as we pay special tribute to Master Sergeant Brandon J. Bendele on the occasion of his retirement after 21 years of dedicated service to his country and the United States Air Force. Officiating today's ceremony is the Operations Officer, 628th Street Forces Squadron, North Base Charleston, Captain Daniel Linzo. I am Tech Sergeant Jack Zachary Williams from the 343rd Training Squadron, JBSA Lackland, and I will be your narrator for today's ceremony. I would like to take a few moments to explain events within today's ceremony that will be appropriate for you to stand. The first occasion is during the arrival of the official party. The second is during the singing of our national anthem, which military members are reminded to stand in a position of attention facing our nation's flag, while civilians are reminded to place their right hand over their heart. The third occasion will be during the award presentation and presentation of the retirement order. Finally, at the end of our ceremony, you will be asked to stand to the playing of the Air Force song and departure of the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of our national anthem, followed by an invitation from our chaplain, Captain Jacob Cave. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Let us pray. Lord of all seasons of life, we join together on this momentous occasion to celebrate and encourage Master Sergeant, soon-to-be Mr. Brandon Bendele. We are grateful you have sustained and equipped him as a defender for 21-ish years and enabled him to be a husband, a father, and a friend. We are fully aware that you have created us to be in community, so we thank you that Brandon has not had to go on this road alone. We are grateful that you have walked with him through these years and have surrounded him with a flotilla of sea turtles in the form of mentors, subordinates, and peers that you have put in his path. We praise you for relationship, especially the gift of relationship between spouses and the blessing of children. We thank you for the steadfast resilience you've given to Paola, as she didn't just endure, but shone through these years. Thank you for the gift of Anthony, Dre, Elena, and Ira, and their understanding and support throughout these years, as well as the constant and unconditional companionship of Lonnie and Mal. We ask you for their protection and guidance as they start on this new journey together in Bernie, and for the growing community to build their compound there. You have blessed Brandon with many gifts, which he certainly utilized. Most importantly, the gift of caring for others, and taking whatever program he worked on to the next level. We ask you to sustain him that he may continue to do the same with football or whatever endeavors he takes on in the future. Above all, he always put his family first, which is evident in attending or taking advantage of every single family event the Chaplain Corps ever put on.
That's right.
That's amen to that. We humbly ask you to be with Brandon and his family, and that you would enable him time and opportunity to seek his next adventure, whether that's hiking or fishing, or just mending his body so that he can do CrossFit again. But he will no longer be standing watch, checking ID, or dealing with trainees. As a servant who received 5 bags of gold in invested it, and doubled his income. So has Master Sergeant Bendele, with the gifts you've given him. So we conclude this prayer with the same words you said to that man. Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Now come and join in the joys of rest. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Katie, for those inspirational words. You're welcome. Now, please join me in extending a warm welcome, first and foremost, to our honoree, Master Sergeant Brandon Bendele. Joining Master Sergeant Bendele today is his wife, Ms. Paula Bendele. His children, Hiram, Anthony, Andres, and Elena Bendele. His parents, First Sergeant Sean Bendele, U.S. Army retired, and Mrs. Colleen Bendele. His grandparents, Tech Sergeant Bill Bendele, U.S. Air Force retired, and Mrs. Mary Faye Bendele. His brother and sister-in-law, Matthew and Ashley Bendele. His brother and sister-in-law, Christopher and Pamela Bendele. His best friend, his wife, and their children, Master Sergeant Jorge Salgado, U.S. Air Force retired.
Woohoo, that's me!
And Mrs. Rosa Salgado, Alex, Julian, and Olivia.
And my kids.
His sister and brother-in-law, Robert and Cindy Vasquez. And his sister-in-law, Miss Elizabeth Clark. Also, on behalf of Master Sergeant Bendele, we would like to extend a special thank you to the additional family and friends who have traveled many miles to be here from all over the United States, and to those that are listening virtually. At this time, we would also like to recognize the distinguished guests in attendance for today's ceremony. Please hold your applause until all individuals have been recognized. All the time. Finally, we welcome all other commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, the men and women of the 343rd Training Squadron here to celebrate Master Sergeant Bendele's retirement. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present our presiding official, Captain Linda. Sir, forward to you.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you all so much for being here with us today. We honor the military career of a legend, Sergeant Bendele, someone who means so much to many of you in this room, and somebody who means so much to me personally. So after 21 years of dedicated service to our armed forces, Sergeant Bendele is moving on from the life that he will soon leave behind as a senior NCO, academy instructor, a gunsmith, a contingency response force member, a flight chief, and numerous other important roles. And throughout these 21 years, Sergeant Bendele has trained and worked all over the world in various different roles, climbing through the ranks and proving himself as somebody that we all ought to look up to. I personally have known Sergeant Bendele since my very first day in the Air Force. And throughout these years, I've witnessed the profound impact that he's left on the security forces career field and on the lives of all the individuals that he's come across during his time in the military. The story began when Sergeant Bendele joined the Air Force as a security forces apprentice in March of 2005. After numerous stretches of playing JUCO football in California and Hawaii, Sergeant Bendele decided it was time to take his athletic talents down to Camp Bullis, Texas, a decision that many of us in this room have made at one point in our lives. At Camp Bullis, the crossroads of the security forces career field, Sergeant Bendele built the skill sets required of security forces members during the global war on terror, weapons proficiency, small unit tactics, and air-based defense. It was during these early years of training and development that Sergeant Bendele was inspired to pursue the career path that he did. From here, Sergeant Bendele went on to his assignments at F.E. Warren and Whiteman Air Force Base, where he became an expert in nuclear security, a skill set that would serve him well in the later years of his career. It was also here that he became a combat arms instructor, which is what I would say is the most influential and impactful choice that he made throughout his entire time in the military. Security Force combat arms instructors are valued in the Air Force for their expertise in weapon systems and marksmanship, They're also required to teach thousands of students per year, whether it's for small unit tactics, weapons qualifications, or pre-deployment training. Sergeant Bendele assumed this role at a young age and at a very early point in his career, and he was the perfect pick for the role. His enthusiasm for the weapon systems, his ability to memorize information, his ability to speak publicly, and his natural leadership capabilities were all factors that made him a top-tier instructor and set him up for success for the rest of his time in the military. After his time at White Wing, Sergeant Bendele was selected to be a combat arms instructor at the 435th Contingency Response Group at Ramstein Air Base in Germany. Now, Sergeant Bendele had already accomplished a lot at this point, but it was this assignment that really set the tone for the type of person that he was to become in the military. The 435th SFS is a unit with high fitness standards and a culture of constant improvement and a high operations tempo. So this is an environment where Sergeant Bendele was destined to succeed due to his relentless work ethic and willingness to go above and beyond. Throughout these 3 years, Sergeant Bendele went on numerous humanitarian and military missions with the CRG, supporting contingency operations in multiple combatant commands. His operating locations included numerous countries throughout Africa, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe. And simultaneously, he was the NCIC of Combat Arms for the 435th Ground Combat Regional Training Center, a role he was responsible for training thousands of students during their pre-deployment training cycles. I've always regretted that I didn't get to work with Sergeant Bendele while he was in this role and in this era, because the stories that he used to tell me about this time in his life were some of the most inspiring and influential for me when I first met him, as I contemplated the way that I wanted my life and career in the Air Force to pan out. So after his time concluded at Ramstein, Sergeant Bendele had a quick stint at the gunsmith shop, where he continued to build his expertise on weapon systems. Then he moved on up to Malmstrom, which is where him and I first crossed paths. Where he was working as a flight sergeant, and I was a brand new second lieutenant who had just driven to Montana all the way from right here in San Antonio, just bewildered at what I was getting into and what my new life was going to be. So it was January of 2021 when I first met Sergeant Bendele, and one of the guys in the squadron was bringing me around, introduced me to everybody, and he brought me to Sergeant Bendele because he knew that he was going to be my flight sergeant. The first thing that Sergeant Bendele ever asked me, and the first conversation that we ever had, was whether or not I liked lifting weights and if I liked working out. And it sounds silly, but this was an important question, because what he knew that I did not yet know was that we were going to be spending a lot of time together. And I was 23 years old. I had no idea what was going on or what I was going to be doing. So a guy like Sergeant Bendele had every reason to keep moving along and treat me as an afterthought. But instead, he did the exact opposite. He took me under his wing, and he made me feel like I was valuable and like I could contribute something. So after a few weeks, I decided that the best thing for me to do would be to just act the way that he does and copy him in everything.
I don't talk like that.
So after that, I'll never forget the first time that Sergeant Bendele and I posted out together as flight commander and flight sergeant for the first time as the night shift for 7 days. It was winter in Montana, so relentlessly cold with little sunlight. And of course, working the night shift in Montana, you literally do not see the sun. And Sergeant Bendele and I lifted weights together every single day, and even went on grunt marches before shift began. And we drove around each night checking on the troops as I sat there, and I just listened to him in a permanent state of awe as he told me all his stories about the things that he had done and the places that he had been to during his career in the Air Force. The weeks and months went on. I continued to just observe and emulate the way that Sergeant Bendele led people and the way that he acted in our unit. So Sergeant Bendele was the type of leader who pushed people, but he was also fair and understanding. He was competitive, proud, and had high expectations. He was the most physically fit guy in our squadron, which set the tone for what I aspired to be and set the tone for what all the troops in our squadron should aspire to be. If one of our airmen was studying for something, Sergeant Bendele would take it upon himself to personally sit there with the person for hours to show his commitment to their success. And like I already said, our entire team spent so much time together, where it was just sitting at a conference table dispatching airmen, or doing small unit tactics training down at Fort Harrison. There was never a dull moment. And month after month, the strength of our team and our relationship only improved, and I ended up spending my first Thanksgiving away from home with Sergeant Bendele, his wife Al, and his whole family. So these are some great times, some of the happiest times of my life and career in the Air Force. So one of the things that I'll always remember about Sergeant Bendele is the way that he could just create something out of nothing. And when I had met him, he had been through so much and had so much valued experience that he could walk into virtually any situation and come out on top. And he provided so much value to the development of all the airmen in our squadron, and I aspire to one day have that level of expertise. And also, Sergeant Bendele was one of the most well-rounded people that I had ever worked around, and that is what I learned from him. He taught me that in order to be successful, you need to have that attitude of well-rounded. And he beat that into me when I was a lieutenant at times when I honestly didn't like hearing it, because I always viewed myself as being similar to him because we were good at the same things. But the difference was Sergeant Bendele was good at everything, even the boring stuff, even the not exciting stuff, even the stuff that nobody wanted to do. So if you want to be successful, you got to do it all, not just the things you like doing or are good at. That's what I learned from you. I was so lucky to have a guy like Sergeant Bendele by my side during the good times and the tough times. And boy, did we have some tough times where we had to stick together while experiencing the loss of one of our airmen, a loss that I still reflect on very frequently today. It was during this experience that I witnessed Sergeant Bendele be the strongest leader that anybody could have wanted in that type of moment. It was evident all around how much the entire squadron looked up to him and trusted him. So I'll leave you all with this. If you've ever worn the uniform, you're well aware that this paradigm exists no matter what you do in the military. New airmen or officers that are expected to lead and follow with little experience, guided by a non-commissioned officer who's just trying to point them in the right direction. It's a very important relationship in our military, one that sets the tone for people's careers and sets the tone for the trajectory of an NCO or senior NCO's success. So Sergeant Bendele, I was lucky to have you by my side during all these fond memories. You have left a profound impact on the Air Force. You left a profound impact on me, and a profound impact on the lives of countless other individuals. Thank you for your service, and the Air Force won't be the same without you. That's all. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Captain Linzo, for your kind words in honoring Master Sergeant Bendele's career. Master Sergeant Bendele, please join Captain Linzo center stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the Meritorious Service Medal and remain standing for the publication of the retirement order.
Post order.
Attention to orders. Master Sergeant Brandon Bendele distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Flight Chief while assigned to 343rd Training Squadron, 37th Training Group, 37th Training Wing, Joint Base San Antonio, Lackland, Texas. In this capacity, he played a pivotal role in modernizing the Basic Defender Force, leading to the most significant doctrinal transformation in security forces training in 27 years. Despite operating with a 26% manning shortfall, he successfully managed $600,000 in logistics operations, directly contributing to the unit's selection as the 2022 AETC Technical Training Squadron of the Year. Additionally, he flawlessly directed the squadron's largest instructor record flight, validating 7,200 data entries with zero discrepancies across 3,500 training hours, an achievement instrumental in securing the 2023 AETC Security Forces Large Unit Award. Through his expert revision of the Combat Arms curriculum, he generated $875,000 in annual cost savings while strengthening operational readiness and influencing policy aligned with great power competition priorities. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Master Sergeant Bendele culminate a distinguished career in the service of this country and reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Captain Linzo will now retire Master Sergeant Bendele.
Post order.
Attention to orders. Department of the Air Force, Washington, D.C., Special Order Number Alpha Charlie 007135. By order of the Secretary of the Air Force, Master Sergeant Brandon J. Bendele is retired from active duty effective 31 March 2026 after 21 years and 16 days of faithful and honorable duty. Captain Linzo will now present the retirement certificate. The certificate reads as follows. Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these three presents, greeting. This is to certify that Master Sergeant Brandon J. Bendele, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Air Force on the 31st day of March 2026. Signed, David W. Alvin, Chief of Staff, United States Air Force. Alongside this retirement certificate, Master Sergeant Bendele also received certificates of appreciation from the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, David Fossey. And Director of Security Forces, Brigadier General Brian A. Filler.
They really want them out.
You may view these certificates at your leisure on the display table following the ceremony. We will now retire Master Sergeant Bendele's Security Forces badge. In May of 1957, the Air Force Police badge became reality. Since that time, thousands of great Americans have proudly worn their issued badge in the effort to secure the defense line of democracy. Today, our attention is on one single badge, badge 89407. This badge was worn proudly by Master Sergeant Bendele throughout his dynamic and inspirational career. Vendors have a special ceremony that honors the significant accomplishments that span an entire career by their airmen. They do this by retiring members' Security Forces badge and number. The United States Air Force Security Forces badge retirement certificate is presented to Master Sergeant J. Bendele during his entire career. Master Sergeant Bendele held allegiance to his country, devotion to duty, and personal integrity above all. He wore the badge of authority with dignity and restraint, and promoted by example high standards of conduct, appearance, courtesy, and performance. He sought no favors because of his position. He performed his duties in a firm, courteous, and impartial manner, irrespective of a person's color, race, religion, national origin, or sex. Master Sergeant Bendele gained the respect of his fellow airmen with whom he came in contact, as witnessed by the gathering of friends and family today. This Security Forces badge number 89407 is retired from the United States Air Force effective 31 March 2026. Thank you, Captain. Every retiree receives a special retirement pin as a memento of their active duty service. At this time, I'd like to ask Master Sergeant Bendele's wife. The retirement pin symbolizes his transition from active duty to retirement status. Doing for the grand guys. Master Sergeant Bendele will now present Paola with various certificates in honor of her contribution in support of her husband's service. The first certificate Paola earned is a certificate of appreciation on the occasion of her husband's retirement from honorable service with the United States Air Force. Paola has earned grateful appreciation for her support and loyalty as a United States Air Force spouse. Her contributions and sacrifices have made Master Sergeant Bendele a proud husband and gave him the inspiration to serve his nation with integrity and honor. Signed, Colonel Willie L. Creeper, Commander, 37th Training Wing. Next, Master Sergeant Bendele will present Paola with her honorary Security Forces member certificate. This certificate is a testament of her support and dedication to the men and women of the Security Forces. Signed, Brigadier General Brian A. Filler, Director of the Security Forces. Next, Master Sergeant Bendele will present Paola with a certificate of appreciation from the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, David Fossey.
Come here and give her a credit card from Macy's.
Finally, Master Sergeant Bendele will present Paola with a certificate of appreciation which reads as follows. In recognition of your unwavering love, strength, and devotion, this certificate is presented with profound gratitude and admiration. From the moment you entered my life, everything changed for the better. You brought light, balance, and purpose
Oh,
into my
that's
world.
beautiful.
And your presence has shaped me into a stronger, more grounded, more compassionate man. Though through every challenge, every long day, and every milestone of my military career, you stood beside me with encouragement, patience, and belief. You celebrated every success as if it were your own. And your pride in me fueled my drive to keep pushing, keep growing, and keep leading with integrity. Your impact on my life cannot be measured. You have been my partner, my anchor, and my greatest source of motivation. Your love gave me strength on the days I needed it most, and your support carried me through the moments when the weight of service felt heavy. You reminded me of who I was, who I could be, and why the work mattered. I am especially grateful for the love and care you have poured into my children. You embraced them with a full heart, supported them, guided them, and stood by them with the same devotion you've shown me. The stability, kindness, and joy you brought into their lives is a gift I will never take for granted. Our family is stronger, fuller, and more complete because of you. As I retire from the United States Air Force, I honor you for every sacrifice, every moment of patience, every word of encouragement, and every act of love that helped me carry me to this point. This achievement is not mine alone, it is ours.
That's beautiful.
That's all dirty. She wanted the exact way it smelled and everything.
Master Sergeant Bendele will now present his children, Iram, Anthony, Andres, and Elena with military child certificate.
Oh, that's very nice.
Thank you, Iram, Anthony, Andres, and Elena.
When they're ready.
One more.
This is my retirement. He wants to take it already. Try to hang it up.
Master Sergeant Bendele will now present his parents with the gifts. With First Sergeant Sean Bendele, U.S. Army retired, and Colleen Bendele, please come to the stage.
We finally get a good award.
The certificate reads, in honor of your unwavering love, sacrifice, and steadfast support throughout my life and military career, this certificate is presented with profound gratitude and respect. From the earliest days of my childhood to the final moments of my 21 years of service in the United States Air Force, you have been my foundation. You taught me what it means to work hard, stand tall in adversity, and to lead with integrity and compassion. The values you lived every day, discipline, humility, courage, and kindness became the compass that guided me through every challenge, every deployment, and every responsibility placed on my shoulders. Your encouragement never wavered. Your belief in me never faded. Through long distances, missed holidays, and the demands of military life, you remained a constant source of strength. You celebrated my victories, steadied me in difficult seasons, and reminded me of who I was when the world felt heavy. The leader I became was shaped first at home by the example you set long before I ever put on the uniform. As I retire from active duty, I do so with deep appreciation for the two people who made this dream
Keeps
possible.
looking the other way.
This
I'm trying
achievement is
to.
not mine alone, it is a reflection of your love, guidance, and the countless sacrifices you made so I could serve as home. Thank you.
Very nice.
UPS.
Master Sergeant Bendele will now receive mementos. Mr. Barbosa will now present a gift on behalf of Cabin Formal Training. Will all Cabin Formal Training instructors please come forward to the stage?
Am I still included in that? Catalog in that almost everybody here.
Hope it's not a blow up.
It's a iPhone charging station.
Generation. Thanks, guys.
Very nice.
Now we will witness the presentation of the Shadow Box, displaying memorabilia pertinent to a distinguished Air Force career spanning over 21 years. Will Mrs. Bendele and Master Sergeant Bendele's children please come forward for the presentation?
That way?
According to some accounts of naval history, when a sailor retired and departed the ship for the last time, it was bad luck for his shadow to touch land before he did. The sailor's shipmates would construct a sturdy box, handcrafted with the finest materials, in which to display mementos of the sailor's accomplishments and voyages to ports and call around the world, symbolically creating a shadow of the sailor. The box would contain the sailor's shadow until he was safely ashore, at which time the shadow box would be given to the sailor in a presentation ceremony. The shadow box provides a visual depiction of Master Sergeant Bendele's entire career. The ribbons, much more than mere cloth, are a reflection of the person who wore the uniform of the United States Air Force. The devices represent valor and reaffirm the career path the Air Force needed you to follow. And you did so with conviction and devotion. The rank insignia show your ability to follow and lead others to accomplish the mission. Thank you, Mary. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now conduct a flag holding ceremony in honor of Master Sergeant Bendele. For more than 200 years, the American flag has been the symbol of our nation's unity, as well as a source of pride and inspiration for millions of citizens. Born on June 14, 1777, the Second Continental Congress determined that the flag of the United States would be 13 stripes, alternating between 7 red and 6 white, and that the Union would be 13 stars, white in a blue field representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, the shape and design of the flag evolved into the flag presented before you today. 13 horizontal stripes represent the original 13 colonies, while the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The colors of the flag are symbolic as well. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor, white signifies purity and innocence, and blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Traditionally, a symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom and inspired Americans both home and abroad. In 1814, Francis Scott Key was so moved at seeing the stars and stripes waving after the British shelling of Baltimore's Fort McHenry that he wrote the words to the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1892, the flag inspired Francis Bellamy to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous flag salute and patriotic oath. In July 1969, the American flag was flown in space when Neil Armstrong planted it on the surface of the moon. Today, our flag flies on constellations of Air Force satellites that circle our globe, and on the thin flash of our aircraft in harm's way in every corner of the world. Indeed, it flies in the heart of every airman who serves our great nation. The sun never sets on our United States Air Force, nor on the flag we so proudly cherish. Since 1776, no generation of Americans has been spared the responsibility of defending freedom. Today's airmen remain committed to preserving the freedom that others won for us generations to come. By displaying the flag and giving a distinctive fold, we show respect to the flag and express our gratitude to those individuals who fought and continue to fight for our freedom at home and abroad. Since the dawn of the 20th century, airmen have proudly flown the flag in every major conflict on land and skies around the world. It is their responsibility, our responsibility, to continue to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we, as Americans, enjoy today. The United States flag represents who we are. It stands for freedom we all share and the pride and patriotism we feel for our country. We cherish its legacy as a beacon of hope to one and all. Long may it live. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to present our guest of honor and our newest retiree, Master Sergeant Brandon J. Bendele, United States Air Force.
All right, so I'll keep this really quick, really short and sweet. Got a couple notes here. Thank you everyone for coming by. It's amazing that you all come over here. Thank you, class, students, Mr. Roberts. It's amazing. You made it. Last event. Pretty cool. George, thank you. You're my brother too, man. So really quick, a lot of people have really cool stories on why they came in the military. So you wouldn't know why I came in the military. I wish I had a really good reason why I joined the military. Specifically, I got bored. That's it. I saw my dad do it, so I was like, number one, I'm bored, I'm gonna go do something with my life. I was bagging groceries at the time with my parents, got out of college. Wasn't very productive, so I was like, okay, let me do that. And then I was like, well, my dad can do it, I can do it. I know that for sure. My grandpa can do it, I didn't even look at him. I already knew I could do it. It was going to be a quick 4-year stint. I was going to get in, get out. I wasn't planning for college. I wasn't trying to defend freedom. I wasn't trying to do anything. I was trying to get in there and see what it was about, and I got bored. I could have kids. Realistic. And eventually I found out that if I get my education and I give my kids that education and I can support them, eventually get that 100% PNT in and retirement. So, there wasn't much to it. I didn't really want to join. My dad could tell you I always fought against joining the military all the time. I'm not a military guy. But it transformed me to who I am today. And I think that does it as long as you shut up in color before all the other people back there. Like you already know like how my style is shut up in color. Don't be a no man, be a yes but man. Yes, but this might happen, but let's get it going, let's roll with it. And then when you start developing people, you understand like it's not just about the war, it's not just about the weapons, it's about the family and the people that you can motivate and come across, right? So that's been my biggest thing. I can't tell you that I was the best shot. I was a freaking really good shot. Okay. I wasn't the Ranger. I wasn't the Raven. I wasn't going out there kicking down doors all the time. But I think what I excelled at was developing people. I feel bad for you guys, because I came in and I was done. Like, I thought I could reignite my career coming here and get motivated again. But you know when you're done, when you're done. You wake up every morning and you feel like, okay, I'm done. This is it. So you all didn't get the best of me. I tried my best with y'all. We did some awards. We got some promotions, right? We did pretty good at the shop. But by no means, of course, the best of me. So hopefully you might see Sidoni one day, but he's a completely different person. Absolutely I am. Motivated again. Reinvigorated. So my final goodbye, not physically retired yet, but this is a retirement. And thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. We're going to have food over here, some cake. Here's a DD214. Please sign it. Right? I don't care if you know. We put a message on there like, dude, it was there. It was too long. Right? Cut it out. All right. Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Master Sergeant Bendel.
You're welcome.
At this time, we invite those who are of age, able, and not in ATC training status to partake in a toast to Master Sergeant Retirement.
I didn't hear the last part. What was that? I'm not listening after you said invite. There we go. I don't
Hey, you guys talk coming over here. Gather around.
All right, everybody, so to a legendary career.
Should we move that?
To a legendary career, to new beginnings, and most importantly, to Sergeant Bendel's family, because today is about you more than anything. Cheers.
As we culminate Master Sergeant Bendel's outstanding achievements from his first duties as a defender, common arms instructor, and to present day, we will now honor his dedication and sacrifice that he delivered while on the watch. For over 2 decades, this airman has stood the watch. While some were in our beds at night, this airman stood the watch. While some of us were in school learning our trade, this airman stood the watch. Yes, even before some of us were born into this world, this airman stood the watch. In those years, when the storm clouds of war were seen brewing on the horizon of history, this airman stood the watch. Many times he would look into the distance and see his family needing his guidance and his help, needing his hand held during the hard times, but without hesitation, he still stood the watch. This airman stood the watch for over 20 years of his life. He stood the watch so that we, our families, and fellow countrymen could sleep soundly, in safety, each and every night, knowing an airman stood the watch. Today, we are here to say, Master Sergeant Bendel, your watch stands relieved. Relieved by those who have been trained, guided, led, and inspired by you. Master Sergeant Bendel, you stand relieved. We have the watch. Master Sergeant Bendel, the men and women of the United States Air Force are proud to have served with you. Please know that you will always be a valuable member of the Air Force family, even in retirement. We wish you and your family every success in your future endeavors. Thank you to everyone who helped on the Retirement Planning Committee and ensured this ceremony was possible. At this time, please stand for the playing of the Air Force song and the departure of the
Yeah. gun. Down dies, caught the flames from under, off with one hell of a roar. We live in pain, go down in flame. Hey, nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force.
Take that, maybe.
This concludes today's ceremony. We invite everyone to join us in congratulating Master Sergeant Bendele and his family. After the ceremony, there will be a reception held by Master Sergeant Bendele and his family.
You know, it can't be. Taco Palenque coming right now. See you up. Good.
Where that Taco Bell at? Hope it ain't something.
What's that?
Hey.
And I'll take 10 to be in the classroom. And that's a wrap, boy!